no shit at all. We're going too far. Too much has been put into this, too much time, and we gotta have everybody on one accord. Does everybody understand? If I see you doing something stupid, if one of the adults see you doing something stupid or saying something stupid, 25 push-ups, then it's 50, then it's 75, and it keeps going up. We need everybody here to listen and do what you're asked to do. Is everybody clear? Older brothers will serve as peer leaders for the younger brothers. Don't be going around plucking, flicking nobody's ear. We all are looking out for one another. We're gonna be on one floor. We're not gonna be running the halls. We're not gonna be knocking on doors. We're not gonna be making phone calls. If you need to make a phone call, use your cell phone. Is everybody clear? Yes, sir. I don't want any disrespect. If you got a problem with somebody get on your nerves, come and see Mr. Miles, AJ, or Kip. Mr. Miles, that's me. This is Kip, and AJ is standing right behind me. If there's any kind of problem, anybody get into a disagreement or altercation or a fight, 75 push-ups. If we're out in a group and you embarrass us, embarrass the group, one person, embarrass the group, the whole group is going to get in the push-up position and stay there until I feel like looking at my watch. Sometimes my arm gets heavy and I can't look at my watch. I just leave my arm down like this. So you can be in a push-up position for 25 minutes and it starts to hurt. So I just want you to have a feel for what we're getting ready to do, because not everybody, too many people think negative when it comes to black boys and white boys trying to do something positive. So we're gonna dispel all negative myths this weekend. We're gonna have a good time, we're gonna learn, we're gonna show people from Baltimore and from all across the country that there are young men who want something out of life, that can get along with one another and want to do well. Is everybody clear?
Yes, sir.
Is everybody clear?
Yes, sir.
Everybody clear?
Yes, sir.
Skip, did I forget anything?
This is a beautiful day the Lord has given you. He's given you a day that you've never had and will ever have before. And so we're grateful this morning, even for what He's already done.
To those that don't know me, I am Mr. G. I'll be a bus driver. Got a couple of things we want to go over just to make the trip a very pleasant one. First of all, fellas, in the back of the bus there is a restroom. However, we want to ask you to refrain from using it, because what you put back there will be with us till we get back on Sunday.
When you go back there, they got pizza. Get a pizza? Yeah, they got pizza back there. And they gonna draw hardcore, okay? The lady right there can show. Y'all go and enjoy yourself.
For the restaurants that we eat in from now on, if you do not clean up after yourself and you're identified, you're going to do push-ups. Let's make it 50 to start. Does everybody understand?
Yes, sir.
You eat as much as you want, clean up after yourself. It'll take you a long way in life.
Special ed class.
History has
that in 1868, that the grounds that you will be walking on were missionary grounds. And history has it that on the banks of the Hampton River, that the newly freed slaves heard that Mary Peak was teaching them how to read and to write by candlelight. And so you're going to see a little red schoolhouse. Now, I don't know if where that little red schoolhouse is today, if it was there back then, but that is the history of the little red schoolhouse, that newly freed slaves were being taught to read and to write. And you're also going to see the Emancipation Oak, which is a national landmark. So when you go back to school and someone asks you, what did you do over the summer? You can say that you saw the Emancipation Oak, a national landmark. And history has it that that is where President Lincoln read the Emancipation Proclamation to the newly freed slaves. You're going to also see a statue by Booker T. Washington. You're going to see Virginia Cleveland. You're going to see what we call the Academy Building. You're going to also see what we call the Mansion House. Hampton University houses the oldest African American museum in the entire country. And so you would be remiss if you left this campus and you didn't experience going into the museum in order to see our permanent exhibits and our exhibits that are on a temporary basis. And so as you walk this campus, you're going to see from a historical perspective that we have maintained the legacy of our history. But Dr. William R. Harvey has kept his eye on the 21st century. And so, as Hampton Normal School became Hampton Institute to what it is today, Hampton University, we are, in fact, run the 9th and the largest proton beam cancer research institute. Hampton University has satellites that are in space. Hampton University does, in fact, have an aviation program that we are the only HBCU that the FAA has certified the program. And so as you look at deciding where it is that you want to continue your education, I would like for you to think about Hampton University as one of those options. You're the future leaders of America. And I need you to step it up. I need you to step it up. You see, every last one of you are extraordinary. You're all extraordinary. See, mediocrity is not acceptable. It's not acceptable here in Hampton, and it shouldn't be acceptable to you.
I'm the only guy in the office, so I love when I get male groups. The population of the campus, we're kind of dominated as far as the numbers. There's 65% of the ladies, 65% of the population are ladies. I mean, it's good as far as eye candy, but we want to have more numbers on our campus as far as men are concerned, okay? So I'm very happy that you all are here today. We are going to start our tour now. If you could, please stand up and follow me. This building to your right is the brand new cafeteria. We're just going to make our way towards the back so you all can see the whole view, okay? The cafeteria is only 2 years old, so it's pretty much brand new. We have 2 different meal plans. One is you'll get 3 meals a day from the cafeteria and you'll have a few dollars on your ID card. The The other option is 2 meals a day from the cafeteria, and then you'll have money in your card for a 3rd meal a day from either anywhere inside the student center or the restaurants that are across the street from the library. Now, Hampton University, you heard a lot of people say Hampton University, my home by the sea. This isn't the sea, this is the river, but Hampton River leads out to Chesapeake Bay, which is on the other side of campus, and then the bay leads out to the ocean, okay?
Everybody listening?
Yes, sir.
Is everybody listening?
Yes, sir.
We were back in the last auditorium. I thought it was a nice area. I thought Ms. Cosby did an excellent job. There were some people falling asleep, some people talking. People gave a lot of donations so we could take this trip. It cost roughly $10,000. We're going to insist that you are respectful from this point on. I'm not on my phone texting. I'm taking notes of what everybody's saying. And if you can't tell me that what you got out of this tour, then we're gonna get in the push-up position. And we're just gonna hold and hold and hold. Now, because Mr. AJ and Mr. Kip told me there's still a lot of talking going on, right now, minus the adults, everybody's gonna get in the push-up position. And we're gonna do 20 push-ups. You don't need to spread out, you don't need to check your drawers, you don't need to check your girdle. Get down. When everybody's down, we will begin. Too many people died so we had a right to go to school and to college, and we gotta stop playing. Get your big ass up and get in the push-up position. Count them out, AJ.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 19, 19.
So this is where we had a lot of our concerts back then. Now we use it for a lot of our formal events, as well as step shows and concerts and things like that. But this is the Ogden Hall. This building was built by the students that attended Hampton in the late 1800s. So the students put this together, and their faces are inside of the chapel. Each face of each student that built it is presented inside of the chapel as far as a form of a statue. It's probably like the size of my hand, though the faces aren't that big, but they're dispersed throughout the inside of the chapel. And then they repeat. So African American students and Native American students helped build this structure. Okay, do I have anybody that's looking to become a doctor? All right. Anybody is good at science or like think science is okay? Okay, good, because you're gonna have to take some science courses. Even if you're not gonna become a doctor, you at least have to take one. And this is where you'll take the majority of those classes. Now, at Hampton, you have to take a science class and then you have to take a lab with that class. So for the class, say for instance, your schedule is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for science. That means you'll be in that class for 50 minutes each day on those 3 days. And then you'll also have to take a lab associated with that class. Now that lab is 4 hours. Yeah, it's 4 hours, but you only go one time a week. So it may be from like 3 to 7 on Thursday or something like that, but it'll be one time a week. So you have a class and then a lab associated with that, all right? So the labs will be in this building right here with the darker color brick. That's DuPont. And then your classes, when you sit down and you take notes and listen to the instructor's lectures, it'll be in Turner Hall, right behind us, okay? And also there's another building for us to have our science classes. We'll see that once we on our way to the student center. It's called Science and Technology, but we call it S&T just for short. We're inside the student center. This is where all of our social interactions happen. So pretty much all of the fun events happen in this building. Usually there's a DJ in here from 12 to 2 during the day, playing some music just to lighten the mood a little bit. We do have events in here based on which organizations are throwing the event. So each week an organization throws an event. Sometimes they'll throw like fashion shows, Madden tournaments, open mic night, talent shows, and then on Friday they'll always finish it off with a party depending on which organization it is. But we did have a bowling alley. For those of you that went to the restroom, you saw the bowling alley. And then we have a movie theater in here. We like to work out. On the second floor, there's a gym. All the way up top, you see the indoor track. And then there's a TV room here. So if you don't want to sit out here and watch TV, there's another place for you to watch TV. And I didn't mention some of the places that you can eat. We just passed those places. So if you don't want to eat the caf all day, or all 3 meals, you can use your money on your Pirate Power card to eat in any of these restaurants right here, okay? All right, we are a Division I school. We are in the MEAC conference. How many people have heard of Howard University? How many people have heard of North Carolina A&T? How many people have heard of Morgan State? How many people have heard of Norfolk State? Okay, all those schools are in the MEAC conference, so we play each other. When it comes to basketball, we play each other twice a year. When it comes to football, we play each other once a year. We have an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament as far as basketball is concerned if we win our conference. Within the last 15 years, I'll say we've won our conference 6 times. We won the first round of the NCAA tournament back my freshman year, way back in 2001. And then Norfolk State was the second most recent African-American school to do that. So we're the only 2 schools to beat a predominantly white school in the NCAA tournament. Now, is anybody interested in playing athletics or playing sports? Okay, so the only sports that we don't have for guys would be baseball, soccer, and lacrosse. So if you're interested in the other sports, we do have it. All right? Does anybody know how to ride a horse? Okay, we have an equestrian program too for those of you that know how to ride horses. And then if you want to learn how to sail a boat, we have a sailing team as well. Not too many African Americans know how to do those things. When it comes to golf, tennis, riding horses, sailing, things like that, we normally don't do that. So whenever you find those opportunities, and it's, especially when it's not any cost to you, go ahead and take advantage of that, okay? And if you learn how to play golf and you become good, there's scholarship opportunities for you. We do have a golf team which pays for school. So if you know how to play golf, and that same thing goes for tennis too, all right? We have the tennis scholarships for, based on your talent. You see the building with the blue top? That's our convocation center, that's our basketball stadium. We have a top-notch basketball facility, and our programs, like I mentioned earlier, they're really, really spectacular. All right, we are in front of the Booker T. Washington Memorial Statue. Booker T. Washington attended Hampton University, and he is our most notable alum. He once stated that character, not circumstance, makes the man. What he meant by that was not where your family comes from, or not the type of money that you have in your pocket, or not the possessions that you have make you who you are, but your morals and your values make you the man that you are. So that's kind of evident of the character that we instill in our students here, and that's why we're really, really big on character when it comes from the students and what they're going to do when they leave. A lot of you may go on to do big things as far as working as a CEO or a president of a company, and you'll be in charge of millions and millions of dollars. And who is this? What's going to stop you from stealing that money? Your character, the way you were raised, your values, okay? So that's, again, why we're really big on character. We are in front of the Emancipation Oak. Now, the significance of this tree is really important. This is one of the 10 most important trees in the world, according to National Geographic. Now, can somebody tell me what the Emancipation Proclamation did? All right. Okay, good. Okay. Now, the first reading of that document was read in front of this tree. Okay, so that's why we hold this tree to be so significant. Okay.
Never let it rest.
Never let it rest.
Until my good.
Until my good.
Gets better.
Gets better.
And my better.
And my better.
Gets better.
Gets better.
A setback.
Setback.
Is a setup.
Setup.
For a comeback.
For a comeback.
I love myself.
I love myself.
Failure.
Failure.
Is not.
Is not.
An option.
An option.
Come back and see me.
Brick and Frack. Brick and Frack. Brick and Frack back together again.
Again. Remember last year?
Yeah, I know.
Are you listening?
She just said you could.
Okay, you gotta listen. God gives you 2 ears and 1 mouth to listen twice as much as you talk. You can go to the pool, you can go to the gym, you can go to your room or to a friend's room. At 9 o'clock, we're gonna round everybody up and tell them to be prepared to be in their room or a room by 10 o'clock. You will not be running the halls. You will not be ordering movies. You will not be making phone calls. on the room phone. You can call all night on your cell, but I would guarantee you that you're going to be hurting tomorrow if you do not get your proper rest. If you want to stay up late tomorrow night and just sleep on the bus Sunday, that's fine. Tonight, I would get your rest. Got a long day tomorrow. We have the first tour, Norfolk Naval Yard. We go to lunch, Chick-fil-A, Virginia Air and Space Museum, and we'll come back here and chill. I'm not going to cut into your evening and download today, so we'll download tomorrow about today's tour at Hampton and the other places when we get back from Virginia Air and Space. Is everybody clear?
Yes, sir.
Brother AJ will have 2 lines outside, and then you'll...
In one city, he wants a record of everything that went down. And the omelets too. The omelets look good.
I want an omelet.
This is an educational trip. This is not just a trip for you to lay back and act like Ned DeWino and anything goes. We're trying to build all of you into future leaders.
What brothers? Oh my.
Tie us up. Make us look bad.
Come on, boy. Get it. Come on.
How many more you got?
6 more.
Hurry up! If the man wants you to be to work at 9 o'clock, you can't come in the door at 9 o'clock taking your sweater off your jacket and trying to get some coffee. They want you at your area ready to work at 9 o'clock. At the very latest, 8:45. Can't do it. We got to run a tight ship here. Some of you older brothers, you need to talk to the younger brothers.
Look at airplanes.
Listen up. Where you're going to visit today is the world's largest naval installation. More than 100 ships are at this particular base. There's submarines, they build ships, you're going to learn a lot. Some of you may consider a career with the Navy. Imhotep is already trying to go into the Air Force. He can give some guidance. But there are many options other than college and just going to get a job, and you damn sure can't be just sitting home or standing on the corner. So just pay attention and soak up the opportunities that are before you.
Well, good morning, everyone. Everyone in the back can just hear me just fine? All right, awesome. You folks are from Baltimore, right?
Yes, sir.
So you guys made a trip down here. All right, cool. So I see you guys are, what is this, mentoring male teens in the hood.
Yes.
Actually, I know all about that. I actually grew up in the Bronx, Washington Heights.
All right.
The boogie down. And then,
Look at the airplane.
and yeah, I grew up as a single mom. Oh yeah, don't worry, you can see a lot of that. We got a busy weekend. So yeah, I grew up with a single mother, so you know, a lot of you folks actually in this position with single parent. I've been in your situation. It's pretty cool that you guys are actually part of this kind of youth group, because that's basically what I was part of growing up as well. So, you know, definitely continue doing good things, guys. So, is this everyone's first time here? Pretty much surrounded by a naval ship for the most part, pretty much around military for the most part, yeah?
Yes.
All right, cool. I like that, raising your hand, all right. If you folks have any questions during the tour, feel free to ask. I love answering questions. So, introductions, I'm Petty Officer Figueroa. Petty Officer is actually my rank. Out in the fleet, or from the ship I came from, I'm actually known as EM3 Figueroa. I'm an electrician. I've been in the Navy just about 4 years now. I've done 2 deployments with Marines. I actually came from a Marine Corps ship. So I pretty much surrounded myself with a lot of Marine Corps. It's pretty much part of the family when it comes to the Navy. So I've done 2 deployments. I've been all over. I've been to Spain, Jerusalem, Suda Bay, Greece, Djibouti, Africa, Kenya. I've been all over the place for the most part, all Europe and Africa. And now I'm a tour guide, so I think I got it pretty easy now. So let me tell you guys a little bit about Naval Station Norfolk. Naval Station Norfolk is the largest naval station in the world, all right? We cover over 6,300 acres. So what we're entering is pretty much a city within a city. We have over 46,000 active duty personnel on the station, and the station actually employs over 21,000 civilians. So a lot of these contractors, these architects, all those folks, they pretty much working here with us as well, help develop our ships and such. We actually have 64 ships here, 187 aircrafts. We carry the most aircraft carriers. We actually have 5 aircraft carriers. Very rarely will you see them all at the same time because they tend to switch over with deployments. But you guys are in for a treat because we actually have 2 carriers, which is not really common. Most of the time you'll either see 1 carrier or no carriers whatsoever. And then we have a bunch of destroyers and cruisers as well. So now we're coming up to a group of ships here to the pier. And so we're just going to follow it straight down to the light and we'll make a left. Now these ships here, these are basically our cruisers and destroyers. Pretty small ships, they carry about 350 sailors to 400. And these are basically the main ships that are used to escort bigger aircraft carriers. If you folks ever seen the movie Battleship, for instance, these are the guys, yep, those are the guys with the little machine guns and they shoot off the Tomahawk missiles. It's basically these guys for the most part. Hence the name Destroyer, right? Now also coming here to our right is our police precinct. 80% civilian ran, 20% military, because we have military police. We actually have the second biggest canine unit in the East Coast. The first one being in DC, so we have both bomb sniffing and drug sniffing dogs. Coming up here to our left, have you folks ever seen the movie Medal of Honor? Cuba Gooding Jr., Robert De Niro, you know, the Navy diver? That Navy diver, he actually just retired from here a couple of years back. This is a Navy diving facility. This is where we train our Navy divers. The main goal of a sailor is basically to make sure the ship doesn't sink. It's operational. The fighting aspect is with our brothers and sisters in the Marine Corps, because they're actually a department from the Navy. We're coming up to some of our destroyers here. It's very hard to see, but the very front destroyer, you'll notice the gun. That's actually a Gatling gun. Shoots 4,500 rounds per minute up to 5 miles away with 99% accuracy. So it's one of the new modern weapon systems we have in the Navy. For instance, we see a mile coming 5 miles away, we could just shoot it out of the air. It's one of the last lines of defense. The big boat that you actually see here, our ship, this is our supply ship. Believe it or not, there's no Navy in there. Those are all civilians. So those can be any of you guys here. If you get a job as an electrician or a carpenter or a quartermaster, anything of that sort, or refueler, you're pretty much on this ship. Now a lot of these supply ships, their main goals while we're out to sea is doing replenishment at seas or unrepping. This is when we actually shoot out these black hoses and you see them actually hanging on the side of the supply ship. So those get shot across to our ships, we hook them up and they can refuel up to millions of gallons of fuel and oil. They also supply us with our food and ammunition while we're out at sea. Number 24, pretty special ship. This is the USS Arlington. It's one of the ships named after one of the 9/11 attacks. Actually came from another ship just like this called the USS New York. And hits close to home because during 9/11 I was actually in middle high school and I saw the Twin Towers from my high school. So, you know, pretty big part for me. Now the USS Arlington, the pieces of the Pentagon are actually built within the ship, as well as the USS New York. Pieces of the Twin Towers actually built within that ship as well. Now this is the same type of ship I came from. These are what we call Marine taxis. We carry about 900 Marines to about 400 sailors on board. And those ships are actually specially called amphibious assault ships. Alright, because these amphibs, these are ships that actually sink. The back of the ship opens up and they flood with water inside the ship. And this is to actually allow special watercrafts to enter the ship. Now the watercrafts are called LCUs and LCACs. These are what Marines for the most part drive, and they carry the Humvees and tanks into the ship. The little red tugboats, these are pretty much what are used to push out a ship out to the sea. 2 of them are usually used to push out a destroyer, while up to 6 can be for the bigger ships. Number 3 and number 7, USS Kearsarge and USS Iwo Jima. Not our aircraft carriers. These are bigger amphibious assault ships. They carry about 3,000 people on board. 2,000 Marines, 1,000 sailors. Wow. Okay, now a regular deployment, it used to go for about 6 months. Now as technology increases, for instance, my deployment was 10.5 months. So I was out to sea for almost a year. Alright, now these are amphibious assault ships. Just like number 24, they sink as well. But they can actually carry more LCUs and LCACs. They have a flight deck as well, but they don't launch jets. They actually carry helicopters and Harriers. Anything that takes off vertically, straight up, is pretty much on board these ships. Now, the biggest ships in the world, right here, USS Theodore Roosevelt, number 71, and actually right next to it is number 75, the USS Harry S. Truman. Now, this big one right here, now this is basically the aircraft carriers, nuclear power aircraft carriers, okay?
Does it move?
It does move. Right now they're actually in port, so they're not moving right now. Because they're nuclear powered, they can stay out to sea for 14 years without refueling. Straight, 14 years. But we never go on deployment that long. Question, sir?
What amount of force is actually needed to propel these huge ships?
Now, for the most part, there's 4 major turbines, and everything's all basically used by the nuclear reactor. There's 2 main nuclear reactors on board these ships. To get an idea, the amount of force that's basically pushing all these guys, they only reach speeds up to 45, 50 miles an hour. But believe it or not, these are the fastest ships in the world. They're 3.5 football fields long, half a football field wide. They carry about anywhere from 75 to 90 aircrafts, and they carry 6,000 people on board. Now you can imagine 6,000 people get hungry while out to sea, so the cafeterias on board serve 18,000 meals per day.
Don't talk. Don't talk. Don't talk. Don't talk. Don't talk.
Okay, right now we're going to do about a 45-minute tour of the building and explain to you some of the things that you're seeing. Guys that are in the back, y'all come up closer. About 40 minutes, 45 minutes, and then you're going to be here for another 45 or 50 minutes at least. Yes. Is this the real one? Yeah, that's what I was going to show. Your friend just asked me if this is real. Yes, this is real. This is the Apollo 12 command module. This vehicle took 3 Americans to the moon in November 1969. They were Pete Conrad, the mission commander, and the 3rd person to walk on the moon. Alan Bean, the lunar module pilot, and the 4th person to walk on the moon. And Richard Gordon, command module pilot. His job was to fly this machine during the 10-day mission. Think of all the calculations that a cell phone can do in a split second or in a nanosecond. Hundreds of thousands of calculations per second is what a cell phone can do. It's not very big, is it? When we started designing the vehicles and the hardware and the software to get us to the moon, computers were 4-story buildings and weighed 40 tons. Not this, weighed 40 tons. We had to go from 40 tons in a 4-story building to a computer that was 10 inches by 10 inches by 10 inches for that thing to have worked.
The first computer was 40 tons.
The first 40 tons and took up 4 floors of a building. Now, what really got us to the moon, I'm sorry, did I ruin your picture? Right. See this little ruler? That's called a slide ruler. This is what the engineers and the scientists used to do the math calculations to build that rocket, to build the command and the service module and the lunar module. It wasn't computers because computers were not reliable enough. Yet we went from a 40-ton, 4-story building down to a computer that was 10 inches by 10 inches by 10 inches in 5 years. It took a lot of math and a lot of science and a lot of engineering, and a lot of it was done right here at the NASA Langley Research Center here in Hampton. Yes, sir?
Well, those missiles on that green.
Are they real? They were real. They don't have any fuel in them, and they don't have any warheads on them. Huh? How many? Are they missiles? Oh, yes. Yes. Two different types. But see, and then look at this. We've gone from a 40-ton building to a computer that you can hold in your hand, and it does a million things more than what a 40-ton computer. A 40-ton computer back in 1961 could add, it could subtract, it could multiply, and barely divide. It had no other function. And yet we were able to, with a slide rule and mathematics, get to where we are today. We need scientists, we need mathematicians, we need doctors, we need engineers, we need technicians. Because the United States used to lead in all of those categories. In college graduates, in mathematical engineers, with scientists, with biologists. We had more college graduates than any other nation on earth. You know where we are today? We rank 25th in the number of college graduates in the United States. Mathematicians, we rank 47th in the world. We went from number 1 to 47th in 20 years. In engineering, we used to rank number 1. We now rank 37th. That's because, for whatever reason, we've lost sight of education. And that's the important thing. Guys, you can be anything you want to be. You can do anything you want to do as long as you have an education. Right. You want to be one of the astronauts? Because we're going to go to the moon, go to Mars in the next 15 to 20 years. We're developing the programs and the hardware right now to go to Mars. There's no reason why any one of you might not be the Neil Armstrong of Mars and be the first human being to... The SR-71 looks like something right out of Star Wars. It's 1959, and this was a long time ago, but it looks like it's out of Star Wars. That airplane is still the fastest airplane in the world. It's 165 feet long. It's painted black. It's painted black for two reasons. One, because it creates so much friction in heat, it needs a special black paint. And two, because the Air Force flew it at night. It was a spy plane. That plane could fly at better than 100,000 feet. That's literally at the edge of our atmosphere. And quiet? Well, no, it's not really quiet. The engines were quite noisy. But at 100,000 feet, you're not going to hear it on the ground. The plane was so fast that the Soviet Union had nothing that could catch it. I met a driver of the SR-71 about 9 years ago. He told me a story that he took off from the Philippines, got to his altitude of 80,000 feet. And by the way, there's 5,260 feet in 1 mile. So somebody can do the math later with your calculator. All right? So he was at 80,000 feet, cruising at 1,800 miles an hour. That's Mach 2.6. That's 2.6 times faster than the speed of sound. So he was cruising over the Soviet Union. His radar man and the guy who was taking the pictures, who sat behind him, picked up 2 Soviet MiG-25s. The MiG-25 was the fastest jet fighter that the Soviet Union had. It could fly at Mach 2.8, almost 3 times the speed of sound. What's the speed? So, speed of sound at sea level on an average day, 750 miles an hour. So 750 times 2, that's 1,500 miles an hour. Times 3 would be 2,100 miles an hour. Speed of light is 186,263 miles per second. Dang.
Second.
Per second. Wow. So, here he was, cruising at 80,000 feet, 1,800 miles an hour, and his radar man says, we got 2 MiG-25s coming up to intercept. Right? And they were very fast. And so the pilot said, oh, I'm going to play with these guys for a few minutes. Let me know when they close within 10 miles. At that point, they were 60 miles away. He said, let me know within 10-mile increments. So his backseater was calling out, they're within 50 miles, they're within 40, 30, 12, 10 miles. And then all of a sudden, at 10 miles, the radar says, I've got 4 intercept missiles, Sidewinder missiles, similar to the heat-seeking missiles. You see that on an intercept with us. They had been fired from those MiG-25s that were within 10 miles. And they were zooming at Mach 6 at him. And he said, let me know when those missiles are within 3 miles. That's deadly close in the air. And so his backseater was saying, I'm with you, they're within 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. And he says, okay, I'm tired of playing with these guys. He hit his throttle. He pulled back on the stick. That SR-71 shot up to about 125,000 feet in 3 seconds, and he went from 1,800 miles an hour. He would not tell me, because it's still top secret, how fast he was going, but I can tell you, Mach 4 or Mach 5. 750 times 5. That's about 3,100 miles an hour. I haven't said it yet. Oh, he said his radar man watched track those 4 missiles until they got like this, and then like this. They just simply ran out of steam, and they ran out of fuel, and they fell all asleep here. The 2 MiG-25s were smoking into dust.
What happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Give me all you got, don't hold me back. I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, but only time. Clap along if you feel like a ring is on. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want.
Our biggest problem as a race is not trying to succeed with a slow aim. We aim it right here. I want you to reach for the stars, so you at least be amongst the treetops. We gotta stop settling. Many of y'all can't wait to get back home. If not, I know you feel like happiness is the truth. See you, girl. Clap along if you know what happiness is. Better think of the big head instead of the little. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Clap along if you feel like a woman out. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. If I get a call this evening, that's what we're gonna do. Everybody. Just like that. It's cold. It's about respect. You did it to yourself. One at a time today. We told you, and I told you, don't stay up all night, y'all. Don't get it. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do.
Right now we're in Virginia. We're exploring a whole lot of places like the Hampton College. We went to the U.S. Navy base. And there's a whole lot of opportunities.
the research paper on that stuff, and it was a lot of fun. Well, my name is Malik. I'm a mentor in male teens, and my experience on this trip has been very good, very nice. We had a lot of fun. We learned a lot about the Naval Air Base and about the Army, and we went to the college that I actually might think of applying to. It was actually nice there, and I had a very nice time there. We learned a lot. And I'm making new friends along from the last time you see me, and learning more things, getting better, and trying to be a better person. The Aerospace Museum was very, very nice. They had actually live jets that they had took apart and brought inside, and it was nice because the jets were, real. That's like real history in front of your piece all over the wall. So that was really nice, and we learned a lot. The guy was our tour guide was very helpful. He met the people in the airspace and everything. Met Neil Armstrong. He met a lot of people, and it was very helpful from his age. They gave us experience, because age comes wisdom. So that was nice.
My name is Kip Hall, the mentoring male teens in the hood. I've been with these young men for over 10 years, and this year we've come to Hampton, Virginia, to go to Hampton University to let them see and experience another perspective of college life. We had a good year coming here and just going through the school and looking at the facilities and being guided, and had a tour. Excuse me. The tour, and it was really nice. We did real well. The boys had a good time. We went to the Air and Space Museum here in Virginia. We took a naval tour, and hopefully they've gotten something out of this, and how that their horizons can be expanded. We strive for perfection, but the boys always, do well with us and everything. So we'll make sure this year that they've gotten some more out of it. Give us a report, so next year we can do something different and make sure that they are going to be fulfilled with all the, I would say, enhancements in life. We strive for them to be well, do well in school, and this is what helps them, be able to expand themselves and be good community persons at home and do all that they're supposed to do.
Andre Tucker, and I got involved with the program because I have a great nephew, well, three great nephews that were in need of male mentoring, and I called Mr. Miles and talked with him and came to see what the program was about, and the more I got involved with it, the more I know that it's the best place for them. This is my first trip with the group, and it has been an enlightening experience. I thoroughly enjoyed it, all aspects of it. I liked the fact that there was learning, but there was also fun too, and it got the young men exposed to things they probably wouldn't have gotten the chance to be exposed to otherwise.
So we're going to take a little longer route going back home. There is something I wanted to show you all. In just a few minutes we're going to be crossing over what is called the Chesapeake Bay Bridge and Tunnel. Now, you know how we went to Norfolk Naval Station and we were able to see the shipyard from the bridge that we was on?
Yes, sir.
Well, we're getting ready to take a ride over a bridge that has 2 tunnels, and we will be riding for 16 miles over the Atlantic Ocean. We'll be on a bridge, riding alongside the water, going down in the tunnel, coming back up, going back down, and coming back up again. Halfway through this bridge and tunnel, there's a spot we're going to stop at to let you take pictures. You can tell your mom and dad and parents, hey, I was out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Here's a picture to prove it.
Hello, my name is Dorian Gross. I'm 17 years old and I've been in the program for 6 years. Really, this program, what it's done for me is it showed me how to be a man, how to be responsible, and how to set my life up so that I can take care of my family later on down the road. One of the things I like the most about the program is the fact that when we do go on these trips, We go to see a bunch of different colleges to let us know about the college atmosphere and what is it to look forward to in the future when we attend college and we apply for college. I also like the fact that we get at the meetings people from different majors, different fields, and different jobs from all around the country, sometimes even from outside the country, to talk to us about their life, how they came up, things we shouldn't do, what to look out for in the future so we can avoid some of the problems they had when they were young. And really, like I said, how to be a man, how to take care of yourself when you get older. But when I start my career, I want to be a computer engineer. I want to get into technology as far as hardware and software, eventually develop my own my own company with hardware and software and be up there with Apple, Android, those type of countries. I think Hampton was a really powerful trip because really Hampton wasn't really on my radar, but I kind of liked the atmosphere, how it was built. For the little bit of people we did see, I kind of liked how they carried themselves on their campus. So that's something to look into for my college application.
My name is Harold Lemon Bay. I'm from Maryland. I got hit in March. This is my first trip. I like the fact that there was a pool, a gym. We have partners to talk to, and they serve us breakfast, and we get to go on tours. And the reason I like to go on tours is that we get to explore stuff and do new things and see new things.